Let me introduce you to the ISIMIP Quality Checking tool, a command line tool for the quality control of climate impact data of the ISIMIP project. Your climate impact simulations have to follow some formatting specifications in order to be available in the output area of our DKRZ repository. This tool can help you test that your files comply with these specifications before submitting your files at the upload area of DKRZ, making the publication process go much faster. Within the GitHub page of our quality checking tool, you can find information on the prerequisites for installation and instructions on how to set it up and how to use it. You can use the ISIMIP Quality Checking tool before submitting your files to guarantee that these will comply with the ISIMIP standards. Let me now demonstrate to you how to install and use the Quality Checking tool. I will do this on my personal laptop, so if you're using Mac OS or Linux, you can follow these same steps. The first step is going to be to check my versions for Python and Git. For this, I go to my terminal and I type Python ---- version. And I see that I have version 3.8.8. To run the quality checking tool, you need a Python version above 3.6, so I'm fine. In case that you don't have the correct Python or Git versions, you can follow the commands that we show in our website and the GitHub page of the quality checking tool. Now what I can do is to, well, first I check that I'm in the home directory, which is where I will create the environment, virtual environment directory, and the directory where I will store all the scripts to run the quality checking tool. So I activate the environment. These commands are in the GitHub page, so you can simply follow them. Now that I am in the environment, I can enter the directory and see that I have what I have here. Once this is done, you can install the quality checking tool from GitHub. So I can use pip. It's definitely easier if you just copy the address from the website, but I'm following here the instructions. And that is it. Any update you need will be shown down the road, and you can use pip again to install whatever is missing. Yeah, so here we have just a warning, nothing terrible. We see what has happened in our environment space. Good. Here you can see there is the ISIMIP-QC. There's where everything happens. That's the difference from before. And you're ready to go. Now I will show you how to use the quality checking tool. For this, I prepared the script, so I'm gonna access my DKRZ account with my DKRZ account. This can be done with SSH. That is the only way to access Mistral. My account number. Then you introduce your password. And of course, I missed something here. Okay, finally we're here. So I am at my home directory. Again, here before I already installed the quality checking tool, so I activate the virtual environment. And I show you the script here that I have prepared. So as you can see, the first thing here is what I do is I get rid of all the possible modules, or like different versions of Python and NCO, which are the tools necessary to modify netcdf files. I remove all the previous versions and I only load the versions that I need to run this script. Then we have here the directory where the quality checking tool is. And I will analyze some files for the lakes sector, the lakes global sector, and in particular model Vic Lake. To use the tool, so we have this one line command. That is a tool. And what I'm doing now is to set up what's the round, what's the data type sector. And here we have the unchecked path and the checked path. So basically where the files are stored and where they're going to go once they're processed if they pass the quality checks. In this case, I'm going to analyze files that are stored at the unchecked directory. When you upload files to the upload area directory in the guide set, after a day, they should be moved automatically to this directory and you will no longer see them. In that directory, the data management team analyzes and processes your files. And the check directory here is the output area, output data. We also have the log directory, which is where the report of what the errors and warnings of your files are going to go. So we will create some files, each per file, log files per file, where we will write down what the errors and warnings are, so you can check it. And this is accessible for participants, ISIMIP participants. Okay, so these are other instructions that are optional. If you only want to run a check, you could select which kind of check. And these, you should go to the GitHub page to see what are the commands per check, so you can use them. And here, for example, I can download a specific version of the interactive protocol for ISIMIP 2, and I could store it locally and use it instead of the one given on the website, in case I want to run some specific modifications not yet uploaded to the protocol, which is also on GitHub, and you can also check there. So now first I create the directory where my processed files are going to go in case it doesn't exist yet, and the directory for the log files in case they also don't exist yet. And now simply the command says the path of the files that I'm going to analyze here. This -f indicates that I only want to process one file initially. You can remove it if you want to check all the files at once, but I prefer to do this initially. Then the log level info means this can be info or warning, so I could use warn instead. And this would give me only information of warnings for each file. If the file has no warning, no problem, it won't show anything. I like showing all the information to see what went well, what didn't, because it's always nice to see many things going well instead of only errors. I set the log path, the unchecked path, the checked path, and I tell these to stop on errors because I like going file by file. So here it's a bit redundant to do -F and stop on errors since I'm only going to check one file. Stop on errors is more useful if you check all the files and then you stop only once you encounter a mistake that you have to fix. Now you have some fixes here, and you can choose to either copy or move the processed file to the checked directory. As an extremely cautious person, I prefer to do copy first and then see that everything went well before I replace copy with move. So now let me show you, for example, I go to the unchecked directory and I see that there are some files here, 2 only, that I still need to check. So we are going to check only one of them, since that's what I said on my quality checking tool. Let's go back to it and run it. Let's double check that everything is fine there. I'm going to check only one file. I'm going to stop on errors, and let's first not do any action. Just show us the information, whether it ran well, everything passes or not. And this is what we see. It takes a little bit of time sometimes. Okay. So here we see there are 2 warnings. First, the format of the file is not correct. It should be netcdf classic and it's only netcdf 4. And other thing that is going wrong is the chunking. Everything else is fine. So to correct the netcdf format, I would have to create a script to correct the format of the file. This is very easily done with NCO. For the chunking, also quite easy with NCO. But let's say that I don't want to analyze now the water temperature file, and I want to analyze the other file. So I can add an exception here. I can exclude water temp variable and then run it again. And this time we should see the result for strat. Okay, in this case, the data model is also not correct. I would also have to correct it with NCO. But these other warnings can actually be fixed with the quality checking tool. So the long name attribute and the axis attribute of time is missing, and these things can be done easily if we select fix or fix data model here, which is also an option for fixing warnings on data model using ncopy or CDO. As it says here, it can be rather slow, but it's totally worth it in case you don't want to run different scripts and then run the quality checking tool again. So let's try it. And again, I want to be very careful, so I will just copy the file. Okay, I have to not stop on errors, otherwise it's not going to do anything. And let's try it now. If you have any other question or problem when using this quality checking tool or when fixing files, you can, of course, contact the data management team, and you can also use our GitHub page to submit issues you find in the scripts.